Anyone that played Animal Crossing as a kid definitely thought about what it'd be like to live in their village. It always seemed like such a beautiful idea to me. No homework, no parents nagging you to do your chores, no boring adult stuff, just hanging out with your villagers and having fun in this serene world. But what would it actually be like? What if you were teleported into the world of Animal Crossing on the GameCube? I want to learn how well a normal human used to life on Earth could slot into this game. Today we're going to analyze 8 different aspects of the world and rate them on a scale of 0 to 5. We're about to figure out if life in Animal Crossing is as nice as it seems. Welcome to Survive or Thrive. Do you guys sleep? It's something I'm familiar with, but I'm not sure how many of you guys do it. For those that do partake in prolonged eye closing, might I suggest today's sponsor, Manta Sleep, to upgrade your sleeping experience. They make some amazing sleep masks for all different kinds of people. I personally use the Manta Sound Sleep Mask. They sent me one back in early October of last year, and no joke, I've used it for literally every daytime nap I've taken, and I take a lot. It fits me perfectly, blocks out all the light, and even has Bluetooth speakers so I can listen to calming music. If that mask doesn't suit your fancy, they have a ton of others to check out. And hey, if you buy any mask between now and February 18th, you'll get 50% off any mask accessory. We in the business call that a deal. Don't forget to use code PRETZEL at checkout for 10% off. Thanks to Manta Sleep for sponsoring the channel. Now back to the video. First up are the necessities. Food is plentiful. It's growing on trees all around you. Each town is randomly assigned one of a handful of fruit to be the native, meaning it will be the only type of fruit that spawns and grows naturally. It would kinda suck to be stuck with that one fruit. Like, imagine eating only apples every day for the rest of your life. The main way to get non-native fruit while playing the game is by visiting other towns. You do that by inserting a memory card that has a town with those other fruit on it. Then you just grab one over there, bring it back home, and plant it so you can have an infinite amount of them. Only problem is, you need to have a memory card in slot B. How are you going to do that while inside the game world? In my eyes, you'd be trapped inside your town without a way to do that. I imagine there will be some people that say, you should make another town before going into the game and preload it with all the fruits, but I don't really like that. I like the idea of starting a new game and just out of the blue, you find yourself transported inside. You don't have any prep time beforehand. So, at least for the purposes of my analysis, you're stuck here, unable to visit other towns and get their fruits. But there is another way. Supposedly, you can receive non-native fruit as a gift from other villagers. I looked online to see how that went for other people, and it seems like you can go pretty dry when it comes to getting what you want. I guess there is a lot of gifts in the pool that they can pull from. But it can be done. So if you keep at it long enough, eventually you will get all the fruits, so you're not forced to eat only apples or whatever for the rest of your days. Hold on though. Even if you could get all of them, it's not like you can survive just off fruits. Of course, there are all the fish in the bodies of water around the town. Unlimited fish of all types. They constantly respawn, so you'd be able to get as much as you like. Plus, you'll have a variety of fish, so if you don't like one, you can go for another. You can even buy a fridge and stove from Tom Nook to store and prepare your meals. Though if you don't like fish going into the game, you'll definitely have to learn to love them. This will be your main source of protein for the rest of your life. Well, there is another option. I mean, do I even want to say it out loud? What if the villagers hear me? Chickens, ducks, cows? Come on. You could eat your villagers if you really wanted to. I wouldn't recommend it because that would probably cause chaos in your town. You'd immediately single yourself out and become public enemy number 1. There's no reason to resort to something like that when you have all these fish and fruits available. Hold on, I was about to go on this whole thing about how you could theoretically do that if you really wanted to. because new villagers move in as long as there's less than 15 in the town. But the game only determines when a villager moves in after you choose your name at the main menu, so no new villagers would move in. You'd be stuck with the original 6 the game randomly assigns to you. I guess you could still eat them if you really wanted to, but no new ones would be coming in. Yet another reason why that's a bad path to go down. Just don't even consider it. Leave Patty alone. What did she ever do to you? Food is a 5 out of 5. You'd be spoiled for choice when it comes to your meals, as long as you want fruit and fish. Water is another easy one. Obviously don't want to drink seawater, but you have the rivers that flow into the oceans that you can pull from. I don't think there would really be any pollutants or viruses in this world that you'd have to worry about. But for the rather be safe than sorry crowd, there's a few ways you could raise your chances of survival. Put water in a glass or plastic bottle and leave it in the sunlight for 6 hours or so, 2 days if it's cloudy. Boil it on a stove if you can get one. Hell, just collect rainwater. There's no shortage of vases in this game. Tom even has some in his shop. I'm sure he'd let you borrow them if you ask nicely. There's also the wishing well, but who knows what kind of chemicals they put in there. I'd personally stick to the river water. There is one more thing though. I was consulting with Kayla, Pretzel Industries' official Animal Crossing correspondent, and she brought up to me the idea of furniture supplying water. And I can't believe I didn't think of that. Surely there has to be a hose or a water fountain item in this game that dispenses water, right? There is one item I could find that features an endless source of water. The sprinkler. There are some other items that feature water, like the bird bath or the science table that has a faucet. But one, the bird bath is just a thing that water is placed into, it doesn't have its own source. And two, the science table faucet doesn't dispense water. At least I don't think so, the wiki page doesn't say it does. Maybe there's another item I'm missing that can infinitely dispense water? Let me know in the comments if there is something like that you can remember from this game. At the very least, you have the sprinkler. While it is available from a ton of different sources, actually getting one item out of the 600 in the game might take you a while, so get used to drinking river and rainwater. Water is a 5 out of 5. While it might be annoying collecting all that water at first, just hold out until the sprinkler. Then you'll be living your best Gen X life, drinking from the lawn sprinkler and maybe getting a little bit of lead poisoning. Better days are ahead, my friends. Shelter. I mean, come on, you're literally given a house as soon as you arrive in town. And you know, people give Tom Nook a lot of crap for putting you into debt as soon as you arrive into town, but the terms are pretty good. It's super affordable, the place you're given isn't the worst thing in the world, and there's no deadline for paying your house off. He won't kick you out even if you don't pay him a single bell. Shelter is an easy 5 out of 5. This isn't one of those games where you have to chop down some trees and fashion your own shelter. You have a house the minute you get into this game. I think the necessities being taken care of for the player is what gets people thinking about living in these games. Food, water, and shelter are all accounted for. Sometimes you yearn for a more simplistic life, and life in an Animal Crossing town would definitely be that. No boring real-life obligations like taxes or bills to worry about. You can just focus on living. Considering that your basic survival needs are taken care of, what about the aspects beyond that? Could you live an enjoyable life in one of these towns and truly thrive? Safety. There is no combat in this game, so it's not like you'd have to fight off enemies to survive. The most dangerous creature you'd have to worry about would be bugs or fish. What if a mosquito bites you and it gives you malaria? For those that play later games in the series, you might be wondering about the medicine item. You can use that to cure bee stings and heal sick villagers. And while that was in the first generation of Animal Crossing games, it was only added in the Japanese re-release of the Western localization of Animal Crossing, so it's not in the English version here. And even if that'd be unlikely, what if you were injured? What if you slipped off one of the cliffs and broke your leg? What if you got in a fight with another villager and they kicked you so hard you got internal bleeding? There are no hospitals, no sign of any healthcare system to treat people that are injured or sick. Which, sure, you could say, come on, I'll be safe, I'm not gonna do any of that. But could you truly tell me that you'll never have an accident again for the rest of your life? That you'll never break a bone until the day you die of old age? I'll give safety a 4 out of 5. Realistically, I don't even know if the inclusion of the general purpose medicine item would change that rating for me. Sometimes things just happen where you need to see a doctor or get some surgery. The world of Animal Crossing just doesn't account for that. But it could have been much worse when considering the other types of game worlds you could have been put into. Accessibility. How well would you fit into the world? Would you need to spend a lot of time learning new skills and struggle to adapt? Or would you nicely slot in as you are right off the bat? Life in this world would be pretty simple, but you would have a few things to learn. The one thing that jumps out at me is learning how to fish. I don't know how to do that, but I could just ask one of the other villagers. They know how, so they could teach me. Any problem I could see myself realistically coming across could be overcome with the help of another villager. You know what? 5 out of 5 for accessibility. Even though you would have to learn a skill or two here, it would be pretty easy in this world. You have all the resources you need. Traversability. This will be a short one. You would have no problems getting around your town. The only downside is, like I said earlier, I don't think you'd be able to leave this town to visit others. You don't have access to the physical GameCube to be able to slot in another memory card. And you wouldn't be able to travel to the island to the south because you can't use a Game Boy Advance link cable either. But you don't need any of those. All you need is within your town's borders, and you can easily reach everything on your own 2 feet. Easy, 5 out of 5. Entertainment. Yet again, this is a no-brainer. There are so many things to do in this world. Think of all the furniture items you can collect that'll distract you from everyday survival. TVs, musical instruments, chess, billiards, NES games? You could play golf for the Nintendo in this world. Isn't that beautiful? And even if you don't want to be stuck inside all the time, there's all the outdoor activities. Gardening, fishing, fossil collecting, kicking around those balls that spawn in sometimes. None of those even include the other villagers. You aren't alone in this world. You have other people to keep you company. The possibilities are literally endless. You could play music together, so you could catch the biggest fish, actually play soccer, share scary stories late at night. You would no doubt become truly familiar with your villagers throughout the course of your life. I don't know what that'd do to you in the long run though. Would you get annoyed seeing those same 6 villagers, as well as Tom Nook and everyone else, for the rest of your life? I'm reminded of those movies where a small group of people get trapped somewhere and they turn on each other after like a week. What would happen after 30 years of that? Honestly, I think you'd work it out. None of the characters in these games really seem like the type to hold a grudge. Except for Phyllis. I bet she holds a grudge like no other. 5 out of 5 for entertainment. There would always be something to do out there. You just gotta find it. Atmosphere. The vibe of an Animal Crossing town is so calming. I'm trying to work out why that is, because I think that's a universal feeling. It seems that, whether you thought about living in this world as a kid or not, you definitely thought it was fun to just hang out in. I think it comes down to why we played this game in the first place. It represents an idealized version of real life. You don't have to worry about paying bills, going to work, dealing with boring home maintenance, basically doing anything you don't want to do. This game lets you enjoy the best aspects of life without having to worry about the boring parts. Friends are always around to talk to. Furniture is super cheap, and you can do whatever you want all day long. I think even as a kid, when you don't have that many obligations, that life still speaks to you. You want to hang out with your friends all day without needing to do your homework or go to school. You want to decorate your whole house around a theme you love. The idea of escaping to a mundane life speaks even to them. And if you desire a life like that, an Animal Crossing town is the best place you could hope to go. The way everything in town is so carefree. Villagers just walk around and do what they want. They're so pleasant in conversation, and even the mean ones are kinda endearing in their own way. It seems like all people do here is have fun all day. That warm feeling is so infectious. You can't help but be captured by the game's charm. 5 out of 5 for atmosphere. And that's that. Let's go through all the aspects before revealing the final rating. 5 out of 5 for food. While variety might be a problem considering all you have is basically fruits and fish, you'll be able to actually have a good diet. Can't say that about many other game worlds. 5 out of 5 for water. Pray you get that sprinkler early. Until then, you'll be guzzling fish water. 5 out of 5 for shelter. You're given a home as soon as you arrive into town. That's all I need to say. 4 out of 5 for safety. While you don't have to fight off any creatures for survival, you would be a bit screwed if you had a serious internal injury, considering there's no hospitals. Just play it safe and you'll mostly be fine. 5 out of 5 for accessibility. You would barely need to adapt to this new world. Any skills you do need to learn could be picked up from the other villagers. 5 out of 5 for traversability. The player character can get everywhere they need to go just by walking, so you can too. 5 out of 5 for entertainment. Just watch TV all day, you'll be fine. And a 5 out of 5 for atmosphere. Game worlds don't get any more chill than this. Leaving us with a final total of 39 out of 40. Almost a perfect score. I do feel kinda bad not giving a 40 out of 40, but that safety thing really is a sticking point for me. Outside of that, I can't imagine finding a game world more suitable to live in, excluding games that are just recreations of Earth as we know it. In terms of fantasy worlds to live in for the rest of your life, I think you'd have a hard time beating Animal Crossing. Thanks for watching, Predizens. See you next time.